Diane and Rebbitzin Aaron Troy, Rabbi Kimchi and Fia, Rabbi and Rebbitzin Zobin, Mum and Dad, ladies and gentlemen. I sometimes wonder what it would be like to speak at my brother's bar mitzvah or wedding. As an only son with no brothers, this has proved difficult. However, as I grew up with Ner and we shared the same father, maybe this is what it's like. I was 14 years old when the shul started. There will be others tonight who will speak of how and in what ways Ner was revolutionary in 1984. But from my teenage perspective, I thought I would share a few recollections. Some of you may remember that for the first year or so, the Friday night davening was to be led by the boys. I was in charge of persuading my teenage friends to daven for the Omid. This was so rare in 1984. We had all grown up in very formal shuls with fixed chazonim, where a teenage boy would never get anywhere close to the Omid. Ner changed this, and we got the vital experience and confidence we needed to be able to daven and lein from those early Ner years. To this day, any teenager who is confident and capable is encouraged by the Rov and the Gaboim to daven and lein in the main shul on a Shabbos. The Shavuos night learning program, so exciting for a 14-year-old to stay up all night learning with programs and shurim for teenagers. The Tisha B'Av explanatory kinnos, the midnight slichos that were more than just a concert, but an opportunity for everyone to join in with the amazing ruach created by Stephen Goldberg and his choir. The Monday night Rabbi Bernstein Parsha Shir, for which if you didn't come 15 minutes early, you didn't get a seat. All of these things and many more have come from a combination of a forward-thinking modern rabbi and a driving force of lay leadership, which of course included my dad. My mum, dad, and I came from America 14 years earlier, and my dad had seen and indeed led young Israel-type communities as a rabbi himself before coming here. We tried the few local shuls of the area, but none had what my dad was looking for in a shul. So with a group of like-minded people, who I will not mention because I'm sure I will leave someone out, began creating a new shul. I remember the many meetings in our house the year or so before Ner started, and I remember like it was yesterday meeting Rabbi Kimchi for the first time in our living room, being introduced to this young, 32 years old, I think, rabbi, yes? Dynamic rabbi. Many times over the years, I have sat in there and wondered and looked around at the huge variety of people that daven regularly with us. And I wondered, if not for Ner, where would that person have davened? I remember standing in the street in Albert Road outside Ner's first home, Jews College, with either Danny or Mikey Woolick, trying to find people to make up the Shacharis weekday minyan. Amazing to think how the shul has grown with so many minyanim today. My dad, together with the original founder members and the Rov, have made all this possible. I'm not going to embarrass my dad by going through how much time, effort, work, and dedication he has put into helping to create our amazing community. I'm sure others will do that tonight. However, I will say that whenever my dad is away and we speak on the phone, the first thing he will always ask me is, how was the shul over Yom Tov? How was this year? How many people came? You have never seen a prouder person than my dad when the Shabbos HaGodel or Shabbos Shuvah Drosha is about to begin and the place is heaving with expectation of what Rabbi Kimchi has prepared for us, standing room only. I've come to realize over the years that the job of parents, to a large extent, is to embarrass one's children, specifically teenage children. When I was a teenager, I had the coolest parents. At my bar mitzvah, a year before Ner started, my mum was 33 and my dad was 36. American, good-looking, tennis playing, skiing, marathon running, basketball playing, doctorate getting, shul creating parents. And yet, despite all of this, to me, they were still the most embarrassing people in the world. I have come to realize that no matter how cool your parents are, for those teenage years, your parents are embarrassing. See my own teenager sitting there red-faced with embarrassment tonight, and I'm none of those things. Dad, I can honestly say that 30 years on, we are very far from being embarrassed. We are so proud of everything you have achieved at Ner Yisrael over the 30 years. Rabbonim, Dayonim, ladies and gentlemen, my father and Ner's father, Dad.
To be usurped by your son is a privilege. To be dethroned by Gigi and Danny is rather sobering. I mean, after all, who else can come by and call Rabbi Kimchi, Rabbi Kinky, and Mrs. Robertson, Rebbitzin? I mean, you can't make this up. Bershus Morad Asra, I'm afraid to call him by his name. Dayan Aaron Shroy Shlita, Rabbi Zobin, Rabbonim, family and friends. An old story which I heard many years ago, I think I might even have told it, is couched in tragic circumstances, and it concerns a young boy one evening at dusk time, plays by a railroad track. A train comes along and unfortunately hits the child and seriously injures him. And the parents of the child decided to sue the railroad company for negligence. And one of the key witnesses was the signalman at the crossroads. It was his job to warn pedestrians of impending danger. And the lawyer asked the signalman many, many questions. And finally, he asked him one key question. Sir, did you signal? And he said, yes, sir. I moved my arm up and down, left and right to warn people. And largely because of his testimony, the train company was absolved of any negligence. And a very jubilant CEO of the company came over to the signalman and he said, I must thank you, first of all, for your honesty, and secondly, for your calmness in the face of such a barrage of hostile questions. And the signalman thought a second. He said, well, I must say, you might have thought I was calm on the outside, but on the inside I was very concerned, I was very nervous, very upset indeed, unless he asks me one vital question. Was the lantern lit? Pam and I came to England 45 years ago from the States, as you probably know. And I must say, for the first 15 years, I felt like I was in a spiritual malaise, an existential meltdown. Oh, of course, there were sparks. The pilot light was certainly lit. But for me, personally, I found that there was something lacking. There was plenty of shuls, and there were plenty of places to daven, and there were some very good shiurim, mostly on Shabbos. But for me, there was a dream that I felt that I just couldn't grasp. And I thought to myself, if dreams were for sale, what would I ask? And what would I want to purchase? And what would I want to buy? And I spoke to several of the leaders of the various lay leaders of the shuls and also the rabbinical authorities of the shuls. And I came away thinking that it's like diagonally driving in a parallel universe. I just found that they just didn't understand what I was talking about. And so luckily with a small group of friends, this is roughly what took place some 30 years ago. Guys, you're not going to believe this. We actually finally have a rabbi. A rabbi, right? And I think he's happy to do the job. His name is Alan Kimchi.
Alan? I thought my name is Alan for a rabbi.
There's a Harvey in Golders Green.
There's an Irvin in Wembley.
He's only 12.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Listen, he's not only that, but his wife is from Amsterdam.
Where's that?
Somewhere in Europe, or maybe it's north of New York. I don't know. All I know is the guy's good. I met him. He sounds really fantastic. The deal is very simple. That we have no money. I told him we have no money to pay him. So what's going to happen is, for the first 6 months, he's going to try it out. If he doesn't like it, he leaves. If we don't like him, we could say goodbye. Is that a deal? What do you think? Guys, do you agree? Okay. You happy?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Excellent. Thank God. At least, well, please God, we're hoping to start Parshas Vayera. The Rabbi Kimchi, Alan Kimchi, will be our Rav. Michael Pollack is going to be the first person who's going to lane that Shabbos. Lawrence, I believe, is davening Musaf. Listen, this is the beginning of something hopefully special. We have a bunch of Israelis coming as well. And I hope that, please God, just tell people to come. It's going to be different. It's going to be unique. It's a different type of davening. And Friday night, I've asked my son, who's only 14, he likes to daven. I've asked him to daven Friday night. And who knows, in years to come, he might even join us and enjoy davening for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, if he works out okay.
So what we're going to be called?
Well, right now, Stanley Com says we're called the Jews College Minyan. What do you think?
I think Ner Yisrael would be a good idea.
What about Ohev Yisrael?
No, I think Ner Yisrael sounds better.
As long as it's not Sunny Yisrael, all right.
Ner Yisrael, what do you guys think?
Yeah, not bad. Okay, light the candle. Let's go.
בשוש מלך המשיח בו בשוש מלך המשיח בו אוי אוי מידל גג גג בייס עמי קדוש משמיע לישראל באוי מי שמלך המשיח בו בשור שמלך המשיח בו אוי 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 מעיד על גג.
For me, perhaps a memorable moment was one of the reasons that I wanted to be involved in the creation of a new shul was to have a rabbi who was interested in what we were doing, and my son was going to be a bar mitzvah, and we wanted to feel that the shul would recognize and help us with this. And Benji indeed was the first bar mitzvah in the shul, and it was a memorable moment for us.
Proud to say that my daughter Melissa was the first bat mitzvah of the shul, and all along proud and privileged to have been associated with Ner from day one.
My earliest memories were actually working with Jerry at Multicommerce. I was working for Michael Pollock, and your secretary Elaine worked for Jerry, and the shul was starting up, and she'd keep coming up to me with letters and going, "What's this Rosh Chodesh? What am I supposed to write here?" And Jerry said, "Elaine, just give it to Michelle."
Rabbi Bernstein's shir, Friday nights I used to go to Kinlos. I used to leave my car there and pick it up again Motzei Shabbos because I wanted to go to the shir as well. And he told me, Rabbi Bernstein, I became quite friendly with him, that during the week he would have a shir, Parsha Shavua shir, he would get 5, 10 people if he was lucky. So finally, after about within the year, or the first year we started, I said to him, what happens if I promise you 100 people the first week? If I got you 100 people, would you come and give a shir every other week? You don't have to do it on Pirkei Avos. He said he would be glad to do it, but check with your Morid Asra. And you have to understand that Rabbi Kimchi was a young man just at the beginning of his career. To bring a superstar into the shul like Rabbi Bernstein was quite a daunting task. And he really, Rabbi Kimchi said, I'm absolutely delighted to have somebody of that. And the rest was history.
To sit and participate and listen to Rabbi Bernstein on the show Shiurim was something extraordinary, in his own words. I remember Jerry very well at the Hesped, after he passed away, unfortunately. We did the Hesped here. It was on the Shloshim, right? And you mentioned Kinlos with Rabbi Bernstein's shul, but Ner Yisrael was his Beis Medrash. And that, to me, said it all.
This is a very special evening. There's no way that I can possibly convey the tremendous sense of excitement and accomplishment that I feel on coming to the end of what has been the highlight of my career to date. The only problem with the Monday night shiur is that it comes on Monday night. Because there's no way you can follow it. Everything else that happens in the week is an anticlimax.
Vayehi Or. In October of 1984, we began. It was, for me, a Jose Feliciano signature tune moment. Baby, light my fire. We embarked upon a journey from a shul to a community. And I remember so vividly, as was already recalled, Rabbi Kimchi's first Friday night drasha, we knew it was electric, and we knew right there and then we were on to something special. We were going to create something, yesh me'ayin, something extraordinary. And we started with simple things. We started a kiddush every Shabbos so that people afterwards can meet and mix and mingle and invite everyone for meals, etc. Again, we had a Hanukkah party, we had a Purim party, the whole community. I remember the first Rosh Hashanah that we as a shul daven mincha together, and then we all as a community went for tashlich. And it was just a remarkable, something small, simple, but yet something so meaningful and something so special. And I must give Rabbi Kimchi credit again for allowing others to share his pulpit. It was an extraordinary thing because we've had the privilege over the 30 years to have had all the chief rabbis, Jacobowitz, Sachs, Mervis, all the Dayanim from the London Bezdin as well as from the Federation, Dayanim from other places of the world. We've had Rabbanim from the local area as well as all Rabbanim and Rosh Hashivas from the vast majority of places around the world. It's Shivim Panim La Torah, and we really meant that. And because of that, we had university professors, college educators, we had authors, journalists, and even some young, very talented people from our own shul. So many of them were inspiring, uplifting, thought-provoking, and yet even some controversial. We were the first, as Maishi said quite rightly, to start the Shavuos program. It's unbelievable to think that there was no Shavuos night learning in Northwest London before we started it. It's amazing to think that we didn't have no one had a program on a Tisha B'Av afternoon. I mean, we have, for the first time, we're now celebrating the 17th anniversary of a joint venture with Raleigh Close. On the ladies' Shabbos afternoon program, we get over 100 ladies listening to both shiurim from men and from women. Thea Kimchi's ladies' shiur has probably been going 25 years, probably. That's besides all the other incredible amount of activities that she participates in. We house the nightly base program at the Jacobowitz Center, 60, 70 young men learning every night. Until just recently, we were housing the 5th and 6th form Hasmonean, and because of security of they're no longer with us. They're back in their school. We house the Hebrew-speaking Gan Talpiyot. That must be going for at least 15 years. In 1987, we began, the Bina Organization for Special Needs began in Anshul, etc., etc. There are so many activities that we've been involved in, and that's on the surface. However, below the surface, there's so many more things that go on. And just to give you an example, here are 3 individuals who handle things below the surface.
I came from monks, and it was like chalk and cheese. The monk second service on a Shabbat was like a mortuary, dead, whereas came to Ner and it was a lively, vibrant community. And of course it has expanded since then tremendously with great success. I was treasurer for 7 years in the early days, or early-ish days, and my pride is that during my time as treasurer, the shul was self-sufficient in funding. It didn't run into a deficit. Cain Yerbu for these days. I suppose the fact that they made me a chover, which is a great honor bestowed upon me, and I must confess, I didn't want to become a chover, but Rabbi Kimchi insisted, and Rabbi Kimchi spoke extremely nicely, very complimentary, undeservedly so, and that was it.
Now, on behalf of Aviv and myself, warmest Mazel Tov wishes to every single person in the community, and in particular, of course, to the Rav and Rebbitzin, to Jerry and Pam. This is an absolutely wonderful community. Aviva and I are immensely grateful and proud and privileged to have become part of the beautiful Ner community, and I don't believe a more vibrant, warm, wonderful, friendly, active, dynamic community exists in the world. The inspiration, the beauty of the davening, the tefillah, the friendliness, the welcomingness is something absolutely remarkable, and I think it's obvious to everyone associated with Ner why it has become a world-leading community, a community that serves as a role model for so many other kiddush in the world. And we wish the community and every single member of the community to go michal and chayil, to go in continued success and growth, and here's to the next 30 years with warmest wishes from Aviv and myself.
I've been part of the shul for over 25 years. I can't believe that I've been in the same job for that whole time. I've loved every single minute of it. I've worked with the most wonderful, wonderful people. I've had the best time ever. I am extremely lucky and fortunate to have been part of this community. I'm the luckiest person in the world. And I pray and please God we should all work together for the next 25, 30 years as well.
As of yesterday, my fellow chaver, Felix, he's a yekes yeka. He turned chaos into order. He is our elder statesman of Ner Yisrael, still amazingly active. I don't think he misses a shiur, any activity, he's there. And not only is there, he's one of the first to be there. We are so delighted this year to have Rabbi Zobin join Ner Yisrael as our associate rabbi. He's made such a major impact. He's made such a major impact upon many of us, especially the young people of the community. And then, of course, there is Louise. The rabbi and I kid ourselves that we're running the shul. The puppet master, without a doubt, is Louise. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to please be upstanding and have a upstanding applause for Louise. One of my favorite parables concerns the tiger and the lion that is drinking by a watering hole. And the tiger turns to the lion and he says, "Mr. Lion, I always wanted to ask you, why do you roar like a fool?" And the lion looks up with a twinkle in his eye. He says, "That's not foolish to roar. I'm advertising. That's how I'm known as the king of the jungle." Well, little mouse overheard the conversation and thought, "Wow, that's a great idea." So he runs home to his little hole, and that night he gets out, and he starts roaring, but never his roar is but a squeak. And a fox comes along to investigate and has that little mouse for supper. And the moral of the story is, if you ain't got the goods, don't advertise. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we at Ner Yisrael have the goods, and it's always nice once in a while to advertise the fact and to scream it out loud. And it's not only a one-off people, and it's not only one or two people, but there's so many people who made the Ner Yisrael experience so vital and so successful. And just to give you a snapshot of just some of those people.
I'm Andrew Newman. I was Gabbai of the main minyan before there was such a thing as a chairman.
My name is David Goodman. I was chairman between 2007 and 2010.
I'm Vivian Cohen, and I was Gabba in 2000.
I'm Jonathan Marriott.
My name's Leonard Ormond.
Hi, I'm Oliver Saunders. I was the Gabbai between 2006 and 2008.
My name's David Myson. I was Treasurer of Ner from 2010 to 2014.
My name's Naomi Newman.
Hi, my name's Ruth Michaels.
I'm Andrew Berman. I was Treasurer from 2007 to 2010 and then subsequently Gabba of the 8 o'clock Hashkoma Minyan in the Shul.
Hello, I'm Michael Shanker. Amongst my many roles in Ner over the years has been security officer.
I'm Andrew Besser. I've had various formal and informal roles at Ner.
My first one was between 1985 and 1988. As a trainee solicitor articled to Lawrence Begner, my job was to photocopy the Mare Macomas for Rabbi Bernstein's Shir. That was a great honour.
Hi, I'm Simon Balsam. I am the Gabbai at the 830 Minyan. My name is Matt Simon.
Now I am the current chairman of Ner since August of 2014.
I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that I wasn't here from the beginning of the community. I was here on the second Shabbos of the community 30 years ago. Parshas Chayei Sarah. Michael Pollock laned the first Parsha, Vayera, and I was brought over from Kingsbury by Lawrence Begner.
All you gotta do is I think you're wrong. What's wrong with you? Okay, take two. This is gonna be now the next 20 minutes.
As the youth director, along with my wife Adina, it's amazing to see how kids who I've seen grow up as toddlers have transformed and grown and developed into fantastic youth, fantastic madrachim, fantastic people who will inspire and lead the community in years to come.
He blows the shofar very well, but his face goes red when he blows it.
The first time that you left me to go for a Shabbos, darling, yes. The first time you left me for Shabbos, you had to leave me detailed instructions of exactly how to prepare the Kiddush.
We were going to move the Rov around. Rov used to sit with his back to the Kehillah, and during my cadencia, we turned him round.
It's actually quite a privilege to be part of a lineup of 30 years of great leadership here in the shul.
Simchas Torah 5772, 2011. I was honoured to be Chosen Bereshis, the Great Fire of Ner.
I really enjoyed being the treasurer of Ner, really presenting me with some great challenges.
This is not going to work. Right, smack yourself in the face, come on.
I'd like to mention the wonderful mother and toddlers group that we had 25 years ago, and where the people that I met are still my friends today, and that the children have grown up together and are still friends as well, and that's a very special memory.
It allows you and encourages you to actually put into place something that you want to happen. So when my daughter was turning 12, I instigated a bat mitzvah program.
The one thing that has always been special to me about the shul is that it's the only one I've ever come across that combines Torah Mitzion and Torah Derech Eretz.
I wrote down all the instructions that I possibly could and laminated them for one Sefer Torah, and instructions for 2 Sefer Torah, and instructions for 3 Sefer Torah, which we used last week after the eclipse. They happen about as frequently as each other, 3 Sefer Torah and an eclipse.
2 years ago, I became one of the 4 Gaboyim of the Hashkama Minyan on Shabbat mornings.
I started off with Andrew, and unfortunately I must have been a difficult person to work with because he gave up after 4 months.
In the children's service, you get to play games, and if you don't want to, you might get sweets.
I gave you the cue and everything.
Having a nightmare at night isn't that great, but coming to shul first thing in the morning when your nightmare continues isn't great either. And especially when you have 2 babies that are born, 1 bar mitzvah, 1 chosen, and 5 people returning for vacation and 2 yort sites, and it's only Tuesday.
I think the highlight for me was the Hashkama Minyan, which is still going after 25 years, and Bobby Hill, who's the spiritual leader of that minyan, is still giving the Rambam shir after it with a very strong following and growing all the time.
Red, orange.
My bris was exactly here at there.
Next up, coming into the Minyan as well and joining the community, we'll go from strength to strength.
Starting our lives here, it's just been fantastic, and I'm very grateful to the Ner community for that.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
I can't believe we're going to have a 30th anniversary dinner. Everyone's been involved in the shul for so many years. We need these people at the dinner.
I'll close them. I'd like to thank you all for coming to this year's AGM. We spent another good 5 hours this morning discussing lots of things, but we came up with the one important decision, which is that Gigi will train Danny up to continue running the shul.
It's been a great zchus for both Pam and I to have been associated with Ner Yisrael for these 30 years. And I include Pam specifically because without her encouragement and sound advice, I think I would have given up 31 years ago on this project. And she's really been a rock to the craziness that and ideas that I have always had. However, it's time for a new team, for new visions, for new people to come and dream and to ask their questions. If dreams were for sale, what would they purchase? We have a new set of trustees. For the first time, women as well as men. We have a dynamic chairman. We have a new board of management of women, consisting of women and of men as well. We also are delighted this year, for the first time again, to have incorporated the Netzach Minyan into the Ner Yisrael community. And I'm so delighted to see so many of the Netzach people here tonight. Because after all, the fresh blood of young people is what's going to make this shul grow from strength to strength. However, I must warn you, just as I found out, Hayom Kotzer v'hamalacha meruba, which roughly translates in my own mind as like parking meters living on borrowed time. Pam and I are moving to Israel, Mitzvah Shem, this year, this summer in August, please God. We'll be closer to our children, our Israeli children, and I'm delighted that Lisa and Simon came in this afternoon to be with us. Of course, I'm sad that we will leave behind our other children and grandchildren, but hope that they, one day in the not too distant future, will join us in Israel. And then there is Ner. But as someone once said, who knows, perhaps there will be a Ner Yisrael of Yerushalayim. Oh, if dreams were for sale. Thank you. And just, thank you. Thank you. And just a postscript, if I would have to sum up Ner Yisrael and encapsulate it in 2 words, I would say learning, as I've demonstrated, and the second, equally important from my point of view, music.
I love the davening at Ner. There's something special about coming to a community where everybody is singing together. And that is really inspiring. I suppose one of the highlights was our musical Hallel this Hanukkah, which was a great initiative, which I think everybody who was there really enjoyed. And with any luck, we'll have another one, Yom Yerushalayim. And this is great that Ner is open to new initiatives like this.
What's amazing about Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is that the first year we had Bobby Hill, we had Lawrence, we had Stephen Goldberg, and we had Malcolm Cohen, and all 4 of them were still davening with us. Malcolm has never missed the davening in the 30 years. Stephen twice, or once or twice, he wasn't well, he missed. Lawrence is now going to Israel, and Bobby has been doing it in the other minyan since the beginning. So from the first day, we had the same
Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur in this shul is unequaled in the whole world. And I know people who really will travel many miles to be here just for Yom Noraim. It is super special. I really feel the whole community is together, everybody's quiet and really davening properly. And that is so uplifting. That is that is really sets you up for the whole year.
This is where you can join in, ladies and gentlemen. Please join us. Nine, 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 nine. Tiddy, nine, 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 nine. Tiddy, nine, 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 nine. Shiru, shiru. Shiru la mele. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, nine, nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together one more time for Pam and Jerry Shutskas, the guests of honor this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could also ask to stand and join us this evening, everyone who appeared in the video, all the formal originals, the trustees, the chairman, the gaboyim, if you could stand up, please, and take a round of applause from the whole Kehillah. Thank you. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not just everyone who appeared in the video, of course. Everyone here has helped to make up the Ner Yisrael community. And we invite everyone to stand who's ever done anything for the shul. You must have done something. You at least all turned up for the dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding yourselves if you've ever run the Ner Children's Service. If you've ever helped join a minyan. If you've ever had a bris at the shul. Ever celebrated a simcha, a bar mitzvah, a bas mitzvah, ever given a devar Torah, please be upstanding and join us, ladies and gentlemen. Do I have to ask the Rav to stand up to get you all standing? Ladies and gentlemen, give yourself a round of applause. This is Ner Yisrael. Nine, nine.
Ay, ay, ay.